The Balmoral Estate, situated some 50 miles from the city of Aberdeen, south of the banks of the River Dee in northeast Scotland, is known the world over as the holiday home of Her Majesty the Queen and the British royal family. The estate was first purchased by Queen Victoria in 1852, and history has recorded the great love and affection Victoria and her husband Prince Albert had for Balmoral and for the people of this part of Scotland. In her diaries, Victoria referred to Balmoral as her highland paradise. A walk around the castle grounds revealed the legacy of Victoria and Albert everywhere, in the statues and memorials scattered about the estate, in the castle, in the woods and gardens where they walked, and along the tracks that took them into the surrounding hills on what Victoria described as her great expeditions. Since those Victorian days, generations of our royal family have looked on the Balmoral estate as a highland haven and a retreat from royal duties. The Balmoral estate comprises over 18,000 hectares. Most of the estate lies over 1,000 feet above sea level and can boast having 7 Munros, which are mountains in Scotland of over 3,000 feet, one of them being Loch Nagar, said to be Prince Charles's favourite Scottish mountain. At the foot of Loch Nagar can be found Loch Mick. After Prince Albert's death in 1861, Queen Victoria found solace here, building a house on the more secluded western end of the loch, from where she could enjoy the calm and solitude of this very special part of Balmoral. But the Balmoral estate of today is also a modern, working estate, which provides for and is closely linked with the local community of Deeside. Over 3,000 hectares of the estate are covered by forest. These include the pine plantations of Craiggowan and Craiglurichan to the south of the castle, while to the west can be found Ballachbuie Forest, one of the largest tracts of ancient Caledonian pine forest left in Scotland. These forests are looked after by the estate's own forestry department. Throughout the year, these men and women carry out essential work to ensure future generations of trees spring up through the shelter of older ones, which protect the saplings from the elements at their most vulnerable. Conservation of rare habitats and species is of prime importance in these old pine woods. The forest has to be cared for like a garden. Old and damaged trees are removed to allow space for the best specimens, which act as seed bearers for the next generation of the forest. From a recent wintertime survey, there were around 2,900 red deer on the estate, and as part of the estate's commitment to deer management, it is planned that this herd be maintained at around 2,500 on average throughout the year. The management of the deer population throughout Scotland is becoming increasingly important in order to protect the flora and fauna and to ensure there is sufficient vegetation for the deer to feed on during the harsh winter. The Balmoral estate takes its responsibilities in deer management very seriously and employs 10 gamekeepers, 2 ponymen and 2 rangers to carry out this work in a controlled and humane manner. Also on the estate there are 500 acres of land for arable or pasture, of which around half are farmed by a tenant and the other half by the estate. A herd of Highland cows and the Queen's Highland and Fell ponies graze on the estate. The estate is only one of a handful in Scotland which still use the sturdy Highland and Fell ponies to bring the culled deer down from the hills, which are inaccessible to vehicles. In total, the estate employs over 50 full-time staff, between 25 and 50 part-time staff, depending on the time of year, and many self-employed contractors. The estate has its own works department of tradesmen, who, together with external contractors, maintain the estate's houses, buildings and private water supplies. There are over 80 miles of roads and track on the estate, all looked after and maintained by the Estate Roads Department, in all weathers. The estate painter takes a pride in ensuring the Balmoral theme is seen throughout the estate, in the castle and the estate houses. The estate plumber carries out essential repairs and maintenance to the extensive water supply serving the properties. And the estate joiner looks after the woodworking needs, while the mason carefully crafts granite stone for use throughout the estate. The gardens at Balmoral grow fruit and vegetables to supply the castle during the summer months. The castle flower gardens are lovingly cared for by the same gardening staff. During the open season from April to July, when Balmoral is open to the public, over 300 tour buses bring thousands of visitors from all over the world to Balmoral. And the estate's office staff coordinate these tours, as well as carrying out all the other administrative duties required by the estate. The softer side of the castle needs to be looked after too, and furnishings need to be maintained and looked after to ensure the castle looks its best from the inside. The seclusion which Victoria and Albert strived to keep in the early days has been considerably relaxed, with a 9-hole golf course on the estate open to members and locals, where they can slice, hook and weave their way through some of the grandest of Victoria's statues. The local Crathay cricket team also enjoys playing on a pitch which must have one of the grandest backdrops in the UK. But the men and women who work on the estate also perform many other tasks, often on a voluntary basis, all as part of their contribution to the Balmoral and Deeside community. The estate painter is also the official Queen's piper at Balmoral, and seen here dressed in the Balmoral tartan, is required to play his bagpipes on a variety of occasions. The estate even operates its own fire station, manned by 5 of the local estate workers. This engine not only looks after the estate's firefighting needs, but will also work with the full-time firefighters from the nearby villages of Ballater and Braemar whenever they are called on by the Grampian Fire Brigade. A great deal of work is involved in running and maintaining an estate like Balmoral. The architecture, landscape and wildlife seen today survives and flourishes due to careful management over the past 150 years. Now, in the 21st century, the estate faces new challenges, but the owners, the royal family, are as committed as their ancestors to protecting Balmoral for all generations to enjoy. Queen Victoria wrote in her diaries that she hated leaving this marvellous place. Even a short visit to Balmoral will clearly show you why. If you would like to see more of the estate and of Royal Deeside, the DVD My Dear Paradise in the Highlands, 1 hour and 20 minutes of spectacular scenery, romantic history and ancient Scottish pageantry, is available for sale in the estate shops. Please enjoy the rest of your visit to Balmoral.